And I'm unmuted. Welcome to Star Trek Adventures. This is Tabletop Anthologies, and thanks to the two on my right, I had to really think that through. It's easy to confuse some people. Welcome back. With us today, our science officer, Commander Kullat, played by Hades. And below us here, below Hades, below Kullat, is Lieutenant Commander Kaval in engineering, our chief engineer, played by Forloth. And our chief medical officer, played by Severian, Lieutenant Andal Grax.
No more junior grade?
You know, since we have three people today, I was feeling kind of nice, so I wanted to help you out. That's all.
Okay.
Make you feel a little more special. So, we pick up where we left off. At the end of 2 weeks ago, what had happened was Kaval had done some of his mystery science engineering and miraculously was able to restore power to the ship, and it was put towards structural integrity and the shields, and that helped greatly. And then
and then everything went to shit. So
they tried to leave and go forward, and it caused a lot of more damage on an already damaged ship. It actually caused a breach on the bridge, which forced the crew to evacuate the bridge to engineering. As Commander Maricadi was leaving, he had glanced back across the bridge of destruction, and maybe it was reminiscing memories of old times. Maybe it was something else. But in his seat, alive, was the captain. And it was a ghost-like image. And sitting next to him was himself. No destruction. Enjoying themselves on the bridge like another day. And that's where we ended the scene as they entered the turbo lift. And today, where we're going to pick up is we're going to pick up on the USS Surprise. And we're going to be on an undamaged bridge. The captain sits in his chair. He's sipping on some Katheka Andorian coffee. Everything seems like a normal, uneventful shift. You all sit at your stations. Kaval, you're in engineering. Kullat, you're at operations. And Lieutenant Andal, you're in medical, doing your jobs. Gone are the breaches. Gone are the injuries. Gone is the death and the damage. And the proton bursts that Kaval was ordered to start at the start of our scenario that he didn't even get to do are actually occurring right now. And they're occurring normally. So I did have to talk to Commander Maricadi on the side because he's the one who witnessed the ghost-like images as he left. So for this first scene, I did ask him how he wanted to play it out. And I'm going to be Commander Maricadi here for a moment. And we'll go from there. So as the commander's sitting there, he looks over to his side and he sees a ghost-like image of himself. This image is different though. He's dirty, he's worn, he looks beat up. There's a orange and white like crackle, almost like there might be fire in the background, because there's fire in the background. There's destruction in the background. There's conduits on the floor, and he's running across the bridge towards the turbo lift. And so the commander grabs his seat and he instantly jumps up and he pulls his phaser out. And he shouts, "Something's dangerous. It's on the ship, and it's right in front of me. And it looked like me, damn it." And you can play Reinach Vogt if you want, since you've been playing him.
Okay, I was gonna ask. What do you mean, Maricadi? Does everyone else see this, or just him?
So everybody else, they do not see this.
But we just suddenly went from the turbo lift to being back on the bridge, everything hunky-dory.
So none of you know anything of what just previously happened. We'll start with that.
Okay.
Like the previous sessions, so
Yes.
to us, we're just on the bridge and suddenly Maricadi's wigging out.
Correct. And you asked what, Reinect?
What are you aiming at? There's no threat here.
He kind of turns to you and he looks confused. And again he says, I just saw a ghost-like image of myself. And he turns to you, Kullat, and he says, and he lowers his phaser and he asks for a scan of all of the energy on the bridge. And then he kind of turns to the captain, who's giving him a side eye, and he says, "Orders, sir." So let's see.
I begin running scans on the bridge. I was
Okay.
gonna say, like
Give me-
full spectrum.
Go ahead and give me a reason and science. Sev, since you since Maricadi is gone for the day, if you want to run the shift rolls, or you can split it with you and Forloth. However you guys would like to do it.
Sure, I'll do them to start with. What am I doing? What one?
So I'd need you to roll a sensors and science. Just one dice, please. Okay, so Kullat, you have 2 momentum. How would you like that used?
I'd like one for extra information out of the scanners and bank the other.
Okay. There we go. So, Commander Kullat, you receive the readings back, and you do see that there is a spatial fluctuation that was discovered, but it only lasted a millisecond. But I can't give you any more information because currently Kaval is utilizing the sensors for the proton bursts.
Then I want a refund. Commander, I do sense a spatial fluctuation. However, its duration was but a mere millisecond.
He nods and he looks to the captain. The captain's still kind of sitting there like, I'm not sure what's going on here. And he says, "Thank you, Commander Kullat. Gregory, why don't you go down to sick bay, have the doctor check you out, make sure everything's okay, make sure nothing's wrong. And Kullat, if you could escort him in case he happens to have another one of those episodes."
Yes, Captain.
So, let's put us into the screen. So we're gonna go to the sick bay here real quick. In the sick bay is Lieutenant Junior Grade Andal Grax. There, I said it. You guys happy?
No!
And he's in there. And the sick bay looks like the normal sick bay. There's no bodies. There's no injured officers. There's no dead captain. He's just going about his day. It happens to be nice and clean. Maybe he just cleaned it. There's a bleach smell in the air.
Wait, so who's experiencing this? Like, I'm down in the engine room. Am I experiencing my equivalent? That
Yeah,
Before, there was very definitely an experience that the ship was cracking up, and now I'm just back at my station and everything's fine and like nothing happened.
So your character is in engineering, and there's no issues in engineering. You're running proton bursts that were being utilized to contain some antimatter that was originally leaking from the warp core. Your character right now has no recollection of what just occurred previously. You just think you're running proton bursts.
Oh, okay. So my character does not remember something from what happened in the last episode.
Correct.
So it's just business as usual.
Yep.
So the photon bursts. Proton?
Yes.
Photon?
Proton.
What did you say? Proton. Was that pre-Borg or post-Borg?
That was post-Borg. As you guys had pulled out of the plasma drift, the captain, actually, you had found out that enabled to try and contain the antimatter that was leaking as you guys left the plasma drift, you'd hit that subspace turbulence and it caused that antimatter leak. You had devised that if I do these proton bursts, it could possibly contain them. Now, and this will kind of play into this section real quick. Previously, you didn't even get to start those because the ship was being bombarded by proton bursts. Okay? That's what was causing all that damage. Now, right now, you're in engineering and you're doing these proton bursts, and it seems to be working just fine. It seems to have contained the antimatter, and business as usual.
So as far as I'm concerned, everything went according to plan. Are we still being pursued by the Borg? Have we lost them? Are they within range? Or it worked. We're out of range. We've escaped from the Borg. Everything seems great.
Yep.
So
and the ship had stopped due to the antimatter leak until that was repaired.
Okay. All right, understood. Please continue.
Cool.
Apologies
Okay.
for the interruption.
No, that's fine, because it's going to help in this next scene as I do a little bit more explaining so that we're all on the same page here without getting lost. So, Andal, you're in sickbay, and as Commander Kullat and Commander Maricadi walk in, they see that Lieutenant Grax is escorting another officer and an unconscious female Andorian to one of the beds. And as she enters the bed, or she's laid down on this bed, she awakens. And so what we're going to do real quick is, remember, in the last scenario, Forlath, you were controlling Taria, remember? The Andorian, the female Andorian?
Yes, it was.
So you get to be her. So I am going to kind of hash off of what we just kind of discussed.
Can I just say, your graphics there on the bottom right is absolutely sick.
That is thanks to Dr. Judge Wolf Esquire. He did that for me. Yeah, that came out great. So, Andal, you are escorting this unconscious female Andorian to the bed bay when she wakes up. And so I need to straighten this out for you real quick. Just like everybody else, Grax, what I told you, or what I just told Caval, is it's just a normal day. You were notified that the sensors were going to be down due to Caval doing these proton bursts.
Well, you say
Right.
normal day. We still had the encounter with the Borg, right? That still happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
No,
Which is
no
just
Star
another
Trek.
day.
Yeah, it's another.
Just a normal day
Look,
from
it's
Star
the
Trek.
Borg
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and other than that, you don't know anything. Now, Orla, because you're controlling Taria, and you did before, Taria, all she remembers, all she knows, is what she experienced in our last episode. So she knows the death, she knows the destruction, she knows, or she watched Jericho get sucked out into space. And last thing that she remembers is Reinach Vach telling her to go to that room and get the injured crew member out. And when she went through that, or went to enter that door, she woke up here in sickbay.
That's right, she disappeared.
So wait a second. So potentially, outside, outside of roleplay right now, potentially she's the only one who has escaped whatever timeline that was where we were on the point of cracking up. I'm just throwing that out to you guys.
Yeah, sounds like it. That maybe Commander Maricadi a little bit in some way. So where did Andal find Taria at?
So
or did someone else bring her in?
Somebody brought her in, and when the officer brought her in, it's just going to be a random red shirt, let's say that. Brought her in. He stated to you that he found her on deck 15, and next to her happened to be looked like a possible piece of blown up conduit, but he couldn't find any damage around her, so he brought her into sickbay in case she was injured, and he went back to his duties.
All right. So the commander's just walked in, and Taria's starting to wake up. Is where we're at.
Yep.
All right. Commanders, what brings you in? Commander Maricadi, I sense you're rather distressed. What's the matter?
I just saw a ghost-like image of myself, and I don't know if there's something going on, if it was something in the Klingon food I just ate. I don't know.
Well, go ahead and find yourself a bed, and I'll start some scans.
Okay. And remember, Forloth, you're there too.
Taria, are you feeling any better? I see that you're coming too.
And just for the record, I'm not doing the voice. Fuck you.
Aww.
Wait, the ship's cracking up. The death. Oh my God, the corpses, the bodies. Oh my God.
Taria, please relax. Remain calm. Everything's okay here. The ship is okay. You were found unconscious on deck 15.
This can't be happening. We had a breach. There were bodies sucked into space. There was a breach in the hull. We couldn't contain it. We were trying to escape. I was sent to the room to make sure there was no one in there. That's the last thing I remember. This isn't right. Something's wrong.
Do you have I don't see anything in your medical history about any sort of sleepwalking or waking nightmares of that sort.
Doctor, I'm not making this up. This happened. This really happened.
I'm sure it did. Please just relax. And I'd kind of be looking at the other two in the room like, what is going on?
Commander, you saw it as well. We're in distress. The ship is going to implode. We need to evacuate.
Maricadi stands up and he kind of looks at Kullat, and he looks back at Taria, and Kullat, are you aware of any ongoing operations or system repairs that might have caused some damage?
This wasn't just damage, Commander. We're talking a major breach. We're talking death, destruction, cats and dogs living together, pure anarchy.
So I have a question that maybe this is more the doctor's spot here, but she was found next to some blown up conduit. Does she look like she's been through the ringer?
Yes.
Well, it appears that she has experienced some external phenomenon beyond the mental alone. Doctor, does she appear to have gone through what she describes physically?
Yes, it does, but no one was able to locate any sort of damage on the deck where she was, although there was some broken up conduit on the floor next to her. This is rather strange.
Do we
Medically,
have a piece of that conduit?
yeah, the officer would have set it in Andal's office.
Then I would be taking my scanner. What are the handheld scanners called again? Is it just scanner?
Tricorder?
A tricorder? I don't know why I blanked on tricorder. I'd be taking my tricorder and I'd be scanning it for any phenomena that would explain it coming through time or space abnormally.
Go ahead and give me a reason and science, difficulty 1. And Maricadi would be standing at this point, if I didn't say already. You'd kind of walk over to the medical officer and say, Lieutenant, has she passed all your medical scans?
Admiral, has she?
I
assume
you haven't
when she
done
was
any
brought in.
scans yet.
Okay.
So she was brought in
I
as
see.
these two walked in, and she just had
Gotcha,
woken up.
okay. I've only done a preliminary examination so far, but I will begin that now. Taria, if you don't mind, please lay back down and relax. I would begin going through a procedure to, scan
How
her and
can I
make sure that
relax? I
everything's
cannot
okay.
relax. The ship is about to implode. Major structural damage. People have been ejected into space. The rooms need to be evacuated. We do not have time for this, Doctor.
Taria, you can see that the ship is still intact, and Commander Maricadi and Kullat here
I don't
are
know what's going on. I don't know how this is possible, but I know what I saw.
Doctor,
And I know that in order to solve this, we need to get you fixed up first.
Doctor, are you able to give something to maybe calm her down or relax her a little bit?
Yes, my thoughts exactly. Taria, would you like some medication to relax yourself just a bit?
Yeah, can I get like
focus.
a white claw maybe? You got that?
Yes, of course. Administering 10 cc's of White Claw.
Actually, in Star Trek, I think it would be Synthaclaw.
What flavor, though?
Andorian grape.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I would administer something to help Taria kind of relax and focus more, and also do those scans to see if there's any medical treatment I need to do.
Horse tranquilizer.
Yep.
So you give her a little shot that kind of calms her down, but keeps her focused and awake. Kullat, or sorry, real quick. Grax, give me a daring in medicine, and then Rob Korloth, ship assist. Can you do me a ship assist roll?
Absolutely.
Computers in medicine, please. Difficulty 3 on this.
Shipper.
And that'll be 1 die. Un dice.
Where do I find the ship? don't
It's going
see
to
it
be
under supporting
under
characters.
players, and it's going to be under supporting characters.
Yeah, at the bottom of supporting
bottom.
characters.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay.
Should I get rid of all my stress?
It's not going to play a part right now, but
And what did you say I was? Which? what was the roll?
computers and medicine, please. Computers and medicine.
Computers and medicine. 1 die. 1 die.
Nice.
Nice. Okay.
Eh.
Real quick, we'll go back to you, Kullat. You see that there seems to be. This is in fact a piece of conduit from Bulkhead 52, Deck 15, Section 29 Alpha.
So that was pretty specific. That's something that could be tracked down to a precise location.
Yes, and what you do notice in your tricorder, there seems to be a type of almost a phase shift with the readings. And Grax, when you do your medical scan, You reveal that the DNA matches what's on Starfleet records and in the transporter logs, but there's just something that's not right on it, and you don't know what that is.
Would I be able to just basically take more time to examine this and try and figure out what that is? Maybe take the data away to another computer and try and get it analyzed, spend more time breaking it down and figuring out what's going on with that anomaly?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do
So
that.
I would just inform Taria, please. Now, Taria, I'm going to need you to rest for a little bit here, and we'll figure out what's going on. Now, you let us know if you remember anything else important. No.
Yes, Doctor. Yes. Thank you, Doctor. Of course, Doctor.
So
More White Claw, Doctor.
And I would engage the what is it? The holodoc.
The EMH,
emergency
EMH.
medical hologram.
the emergency
medical hologram.
medical hologram. Yes.
I would engage that and
Please
ask
state
it
the
to,
nature of the medical emergency.
And he shows up and he says that.
Can you please attend to Commander Maricadi here? He experienced what, and I'm going to make sure Maricadi isn't like standing real close. He's maybe experiencing hallucinations and needs a mental assessment and maybe some sort of scans on his brain.
And all his brain. And
Yeah.
also
Great.
strength user.
And he nods and he's like, as I look at his record, I don't see any mental issues.
No, there's not. So, please treat this as a sensitive matter and report back to me with any findings. I have a matter to attend to in my office.
And he nods and he goes over and he starts scanning Maricadi. Kullat, you were going to say something?
Am I able to verify without going there that the conduit on deck 15 is not damaged and is in place despite me holding this damaged piece?
Yeah, you could check
I
with.
can use a chip computer or send a
Yeah,
red
you
shirt
could
or
you
something.
could check with Caval through engineering since he runs the damage control teams. He would know.
Commander Kullat to Lieutenant Commander Caval.
This is Kuvan.
I hold in my hands a damaged piece of conduit from deck 15, and I give all the specific bits that the Admiral gave me a minute ago about its designation. Are you able to verify for me that that conduit is in working order and in place?
Is this some kind of joke, Commander Kullat?
Right now would not be the time for me to begin making jokes, Lieutenant Commander.
I will verify for you right away, Commander. Stand by.
So you can do a real quick check, Commander, or sorry, Lieutenant Commander. Do me a reason and sorry, insight and engineering difficulty 0.
Can I use a focus?
Yeah.
Let's see. What would this fall under? I've got plasma power systems. I've got transporters, replicators, warp field dynamics.
Honestly, it would probably fall under either computers or power systems. Computers
which I
mainly
have.
just because you're simply referencing everything you have to see if you're getting any strange readings or any damage that you're not aware of.
Two successes.
Okay. So,
I not speak good.
one momentum. What would you like to do with it?
Where are we with the bank? We've got 5. What's our max? We can bank
6.
6, right?
6.
Yeah, I'll bank it.
Okay. All right, it is banked. So you do a little tapping on the computer, and you come across and you do a few quick diagnostic checks. And according to the computer in the system, there's no damage down there. There's none that's been reported. and you're not getting any sort of reaction or having to reroute anything, which would explain like a damaged conduit. So everything seems to be in working order.
Commander Kullat, this is Kaval. Over.
Lieutenant Commander.
I've checked that conduit. There is no damage, not only to the conduit itself, but to that entire deck. Well, how did you get a hold of this?
We're still determining that at the moment. I appreciate your efforts, Lieutenant Commander.
Kaval, very confused. Out.
Would you be doing this all in my office, basically? In the
Yeah, I was in your office, so I was actually going to turn to you next.
So I probably would have walked in on that conversation, basically. And then, Commander Kullat, you seem to be a bit confused. Do you care to elaborate on what you're looking at there?
Doctor, is that you?
Did I freeze up?
Did you say to Kullat or Kuval? Sorry.
I said Kullat.
Oh, my bad.
Quick! Check Cabal for mental issues too.
He's got fumes down there in the engineering.
A lot of background noise. Disregard.
Lieutenant Junior Grade, I appear to be holding in my hand a piece of conduit that was found with, what's Taria's rank, Ensign?
She's a lieutenant.
With Lieutenant Taria, oh, she's not even a junior grade. This piece of conduit that was discovered with your patient in medbay here comes from Deck 15, even though Deck 15 has suffered no damage. I have studied the piece and found what appears to be a phasic shift type reading I'm getting from it. Have you noticed anything similar from readings on her directly?
Well, now that you mention it, maybe that's what I'm looking at here. Now, if you'd look at this and I, put up on the screen on my desk or whatever, the information I just pulled from Taria, there's some anomalies here that I just don't quite understand. It's unlike anything I've seen before. Maybe together we can make something of it.
From a cursory glance, do they appear to be the same phenomena we're looking at the moment?
With what he got back, you don't pick up on the same thing, but maybe it's because he wasn't looking at the right thing, or maybe just wasn't able to scan it properly.
So looking at his scans, I can't see that phasic shift?
You see something odd about it too, but the computer can't make anything of it yet.
Am I able to, since this is the magic of future medbay, am I able to do a scan from within this office of her looking for that phasic phenomenon?
Yeah, you would need the assistance of the medical officer to do so. If that's, you basically scanning her for that, is that what it is? Or
yeah,
you're just scanning the med bay?
Scanning her specifically for that same reading.
Okay.
Like her and her clothes, anything on her.
So you'll since he's the doctor, he'll do the main roles, and you'll assist him with that. And Lieutenant, you're going to give me a roll of daring and medicine, and that's going to be also a same roll from you, Commander Kullat, daring and medicine. Okay, and then Cabal, if you could give me computers and medicine, just one dice, and this is going to be a difficulty 3 again. That and I'll remind you now real quick, Sev, since it's been a little bit since we've been in sickbay. During medical scans, since you're in this, your difficulty is reduced. So it's a difficulty 2. I wanted to see if you'd remember it before, so I'm kind of helping you out.
Oh, it's the advanced med bay.
Correct.
Is it difficulty 3 for the ship as well?
It's just a combined. It's going to be a combined effort here. Total of difficulty 3. So we're going to need 3 complete or 3 total successes. So you'll just roll 1 dice.
Yeah. I was confusing it with complication range. Never mind.
Here we go. I didn't roll a 19 that time.
Can I use a focus of physics because I know what I'm looking for?
Yes.
Now, do we want low or do we want high?
Low.
Lower.
Yeah.
So you have 1, 2, 3. Or, sorry, you're only gonna you only needed to roll 1 dice, so that's 1 success. Kullat. So you'll have 4 successes, which means you have 2 momentum here to spend.
All on information.
So you do your medical scans with the information that Kullat has gathered from the conduit piece of pipe. And those readings actually start to make sense. They do show that there is a bit of a phase shift in Taria's DNA. And it does match the conduit that was brought in with her.
Where?
I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you want us doing this for sake of the game, but can we talk to the computer like the characters would in the show?
Yes.
To get information?
Yes.
Computer.
Go ahead.
What is... what would Lieutenant Taria's current assignment be? Where should she be located?
Lieutenant Taria is currently on Deck 12, Section 5, doing a security sweep.
Ooh.
I was about to do the same thing. Good idea.
The EMH turns to you
that-
real quick, and he walks up to you. He kind of leans in, almost all up in your space, because he doesn't understand boundaries. And he says, Lieutenant, there is
Yes.
nothing medically wrong with Commander Maricadi.
That is good to know. Thank you.
Hey, does Taria have an upside down dagger, a downward pointing dagger?
You talking about like the Andorian dagger?
No.
Terran.
Taran.
Oh! No, she does not. She has uniforms and standard issue gear, just like the rest of you.
Is there any discrete entry in the medbay that would go like straight into the office, or would any entry in the medbay go into that main area?
What do you mean? What do you want to do?
So I'm going to call Lieutenant Taria to the medbay, but I don't want her to walk in and see herself laying on the platform. So if there was an alternate door in here that would bring her directly into the office instead.
Yeah, you could do that. You wouldn't have to do anything special.
Okay. Commander Kullat to Lieutenant Taria.
This is Taria, Commander.
Report to medbay immediately and come straight into the medical office, please.
Of course, Commander. On my way.
Thank you. Lieutenant Junior Grade, do you think you could scan Commander Maricadi here for this same phenomenon?
Yes, I can do that, but have you ever seen anything like this before?
I have heard of a phenomenon of phase shift before, though I've not heard of people being transferred through it.
Is there any anything we should be concerned with or keep an eye out for in this circumstance?
For the moment, I would recommend not letting the two see each other.
Yes, I suppose that would possibly cause severe mental harm. I'll go scan Commander Maricadi now. And I would go and basically act like I'm following up on the EMH and start scanning Commander Maricadi, looking for the same things that we found on Taria.
Okay.
Same phase shift anomalies.
Yeah, then give me the same roll. Daring and medicine. Ship assist. Cabal, please. Computers and medicine. And this is going to be a difficulty 1 now.
And how much momentum do we have banked? Is that
6.
accurate? What it says there?
It is
Okay.
accurate.
Then I'll just spend that on more information.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you run your medical scans, and his DNA is normal. There's no phase shift found. There's nothing wrong with his head. You've confirmed what the EMH shows.
Okay.
And in walks Taria straight into the office.
Commander, you called for me?
Kullat.
Hi, we're muted. Yes, Lieutenant. How are you feeling?
I appear to be in prime operating condition, Commander. I sense no physical or mental inhibitors to my performance.
You've not felt anything unusual in the last hour or so?
No, sir. Should I have?
That's to be determined. Have a seat here, and when the doctor's back, we're going to run a routine scan on you.
Understand, sure. Sir. Commander, should I be concerned?
If you feel as fine as you say, I don't believe so.
Well, I'm looking fine. I'm sorry.
Affirmative,
So
Lieutenant.
I walk into the office just then. Thank you for joining us, Taria. We're performing some routine medical checks on various crew members. Would you mind if I started doing some scans on you?
Of course not, Doctor. Please proceed.
All right.
Same-
I would begin
same
scanning her for. Okay.
I don't have my library card, but do you mind if I check you out?
Why, you sweet-talking son of a...
Stay tuned for more dad jokes.
Do I get
So-
a ship assist on that one?
Yeah, it'll be a ship assist. Same thing, Cabal, please. That would be a computers and medicine.
Coming right up. Computers and medicine. Not great.
Okay, so the difficulty was only 1, so he did succeed.
Okay.
So you scan her, and the scans return just like normal. Same thing as Commander Gregory Maricadi. It's Taria. No phase shift has been detected. Nothing awkward. Nothing different.
All right. You appear to be in perfect healthy condition. I thank you for coming in, and you're free to leave back through the door you came in.
Thank you, Doctor. If there's anything else, please don't hesitate to contact me. Would you like my number?
Ooh.
I have it already. Thank you.
Of course.
Should she
And
be dating
Lieutenant
below
S-
her rank?
Oh!
And Lieutenant, you are relieved of your current shift. You may return to your quarters, but please stay there until notified otherwise.
Oh, and the scans I was running on Deck C?
We will find a replacement to complete the scans. And I'm going to amend what I said. Instead of her quarters, I'll say just the deck. Her quarters are on the living quarters area, whatever. She's free to be in that area.
Of course. Should I stay in standby? Or do you truly want me off duty at this time, Commander?
You may be at your leisure. If you notice any strange feelings, do report them immediately to our doctor here.
Of course, Commander. Understood, Commander.
Maricadi,
About face and out the door.
Maricadi sits
Snaps.
up and he walks over to the Taria sitting on the med bay herself. And he kind of glances into the other room where Kullat and Doctor are. And he kind of does a head tilt and in a motion to come on in here. And so he looks at her and he says, Taria, start from the beginning. What happened?
Commander, as well as I can remember, we had taken some heavy damage. That god of a man, Lieutenant Commander Caval, had managed to patch us together well enough to escape the Borg, but as we went to warp, we started to suffer structural damage. There was a breach. We tried to patch it. My crewmate was lost to the depths of space. We were trying to escape the deck before it was shut off. Someone directed me to check one of the closed rooms. I walked in the door, and that's the last thing I remember. I found myself here.
Maybe we should engage the security monitors and see if we can find out exactly where Taria came from here.
When you say that, do you mean like where she was found?
Yeah, pretty much. Just like
The
I'm
crew
assuming
member
there's a security
had-
system with something we could like see video footage of
Okay.
how she appeared there and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Whether or not, I don't know if I'd have like the security clearance look at that, or if Rhinoc would need to be engaged.
Let me turn Rhinoc on. Hold on.
Yeah.
You could ask him, or you could try. Commander Kullat could also try. He's operations chief, so he'd probably be able to do the
Okay.
same thing.
So I'd just be kind of looking at the two commanders standing here and see if they have anything to say about that.
I would just nod approval. Actually, before I stepped out into this room, can I go back and do like one more scan?
Of
Ship scanned of Deck 15 in that area to see if there's anybody else that seems out of place. Like how she reappeared, if there's any like duplicate people on board.
yeah, you
Or
can
in
do
the immediate vicinity of the ship, possibly on the outside.
that. Yeah, on the outside.
Just around to the outside.
So the vicinity of where she was found, or around the outside of the ship, correct? Like
Yes.
of where that area is.
Yes.
Okay. Give me an insight in science, and Cabal, please, sensors in science from the ship. This will be a difficulty 2.
And
We got a bonus die in the chat too.
Ugh. Man, the ship sucks.
Turkford.
The ship is not assisting. Thanks, Turg. Thanks, Thrall, who's sending you all love from afar.
Thrall's the best.
He is.
Ooh, I knew I should have used the momentum. I'm using the computer scans. Wait, is this? Oh, wrong one. Yeah, I want to re-roll one of those since I'm using the computer to scan.
Okay. Would you like to utilize the dice that Turg gave you?
Yeah.
Okay. You may do so. You have focuses too.
Physiques.
Physiques? Okay. Wait. Physique of the ship? Or
Yes.
Caval?
All his physique.
Okay.
So basically, I'm just gonna re-roll that because that would be one bonus die and one re-roll. So I'll just roll it anew.
Okay.
That was much gooder.
Okay. So you run your scans, and you see some odd and strange readings, not only of the area, but on the outside of the ship in that same area. So you decide to do a bit of a quantum level analysis.
Of course,
And-
as you would.
And as you do those scans, they reveal that in that area there seems to be some sort of maybe damage from running into some sort of subspace divergence field. And it seems to be in the area in which the ship is in. And when you learned that, you looked at the door area where Taria was, and you see that there seems to be duplicated particles of matter floating around. Did you hear that, Caval?
I did.
Okay.
I heard it very well in both ears.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back.
Any of those particles constituting a whole person, just like Lieutenant, whatever her name is here, Taria.
What do you mean, like?
Is any of the duplicate matter another person?
No, it seems to be just of the area right now.
But I mean, there's no. I'm looking for a second person out of sorts.
Oh,
Just
okay.
like
Yeah,
Taria
no.
there.
Nope.
There's no second person.
No, there
that
just
would
seems
float.
to be like some remnant readings of this duplicated matter where she was found.
Okay, and like immediately outside the ship, floating in space, no frozen bodies.
Correct. You had detected that subspace divergence
Okay.
field, which caused you to look at the door a little more closely.
Just making sure, because that's what I was looking for, was other people
Yes.
out of phase.
No, just that area.
Okay, I would make note of all that information and then join the others out in the main area. It seems that there are some further readings in the area where Lieutenant Taria was found.
Are we saying this in front of the new Taria?
I was holding back some because of that.
I see.
Lieutenant Junior Grade, I found
see.
some duplicate particles of a similar type to what we discussed in your office.
I see. Taria, go ahead and relax here for just a moment. Commander Maricadi, may we speak to you in my office?
You guys head into the office.
Commander Maricadi, there may be something going on that is related to what you saw. That Taria is the second Taria we have on this ship. There seems to be some sort of phase shift that maybe Commander Kullat can describe better, causing duplicate particles in the area where she was found.
I might explain what I saw. What are your thoughts, Commander Kullat?
Would my knowledge in this area indicate any ability for people to see things that are out of phase without being phase shifted themselves like Taria was?
Give me a computer and science difficulty 1. No ship roll.
On a ship roll?
No ship roll. None.
I don't have computer as a first.
Oh, sorry. Reason and science. I was thinking of the ship, sorry. I'm going to send you a message.
We just got a letter. Why was... Maybe that's because I only rolled a 1. My question was more, have I heard of people witnessing phasic anomalies like that without...
So, the reason I sent that to you is no, but you would recall something similar or close to it, and this is what you would recall.
I have read previously about quantum theorists duplicating a single particle of matter using the divergence of subspace fields. They named this a spatial scission. This might be the phenomenon we're looking at currently. The things that the commander described seeing seem to match with what Taria there was describing was happening just before she was found. Perhaps these are related then.
So, what is there to do about this, Commander? Do we carry on as usual, and now we just have to deal with the 2 Tarias, or is this new Taria in danger of... Is there something that maybe causes this duplicated material to disintegrate or deteriorate in some way?
I'll have to go through the ship's logs to see if there's any information on this. And then I'd be going to a terminal to read more about spatial scissions to see if what happens to the duplicated matter. If it deteriorates or if it annihilates on contact with the initial matter, or if there's any further...
Give me a computer and science, or sorry, not computer, reason and science, difficulty 2. And while you're rolling that, I'd be talking to the commander, but also the doctor, and I would say, or Commander Maricadi would say, so you're saying there's 2 of her? And that's it? What was it that I saw?
Perhaps this was the this other reality or timeline? I'm not sure. Commander Kullat, is that what it is happening here? Is this Taria from another dimension?
Is that what a phase shift would be, I take it? That's kind of how I've been understanding it.
Yeah.
Affirmative, Lieutenant Junior Grade. The phasic
So-
shift would seem to be the meeting of two realities.
Could we just call him Junior for short?
Only if I switch to an accent. Junior.
Junior. So, Kullat,
Shweta.
refresh me on your question real quick that you had, so I can properly explain this to you. Basically.
I'm researching, so I'm looking in the computer, looking up spatial scissions to see if there's further information listed about what happens to the duplicated matter. If it deteriorates, if it annihilates, or if there's any an interaction issue, like I'm thinking matter, antimatter, like
Yes.
if a particle and a duplicated particle touch, do they annihilate? Do they,
Okay. So,
or is it just there permanently?
So when you dig in a little deeper, with the information you'd received before in this and what's going on now, you notice that everything seemed to cease or fail when they attempted to duplicate antimatter. So the duplications seemed to cease when antimatter was involved.
But only when antimatter is involved? Because
Yes.
I don't know if they talk about it much in Star Trek, but I don't think it's a common thing to run into, right?
No.
Like maybe in the warp engine, but
Yes.
Lieutenant Junior Grade, it seems the only known conflict with the duplicated substances is when it touches antimatter. So I would recommend, barring second that sounds like a title of its own, second lieutenant, duplicate Lieutenant Taria, from engineering for the time being, or permanently.
Oh, is this something we should inform? Is it Commander or Lieutenant? I forget. It's Commander, right? Commander Cabal.
Lieutenant Commander.
Lieutenant Commander.
Okay. Is this something we should inform Lieutenant Commander Cabal about?
Senior Lieutenant Commander.
If there's other particles of this sort around the ship and they come in contact with the antimatter, sounds like that could have dire consequences for the ship.
Oh, they just cease to be, though, right? The duplicated material?
Yes. Yes. So when they tried to duplicate the antimatter, it ceased. Stopped.
Duplicating the antimatter? Or what?
Yes.
I'm getting confused now.
Okay. So your earlier scans, remember, they revealed that quantum theorists were able to duplicate a single particle of matter using the divergent subspace fields called spatial
Yes.
scission.
But they tried to duplicate antimatter?
When they tried to duplicate antimatter, they failed.
But when the duplicate particle they made touched antimatter, it went away.
Correct. And then when you scanned the ship in the area, you found evidence of subspace or spatial divergence.
So that's what caused it, but I mean, any matter that touches antimatter is annihilated, so that's a normal precaution that would be taken anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like she'd actually have to avoid it because everybody would. But so there's just basically no worry. So the only thing is if this duplicate, I mean, yeah, I'm not understanding how that's any different from regular stuff.
Commander Kullat, could it be that this antimatter touching the duplicate particle sends it back to its own reality? Is that too much of a stretch, or is there a way we could confirm that? And I guess that's kind of also to the Admiral too, is if there's
does that
somewhere we can
sound
figure
like?
that out.
Does that sound like it jives with what I've been reading?
Yes. Trying to think of how to word some things without giving away some things.
I mean, it would be nice to send her back to her own reality, I guess, but we, not want to do that here and now, where she would go back to a destroyed ship.
So, you have a special tool at your ability, Commander Kullat. And it's your hands.
What would I learn from her that she hasn't told us? Talking about mind melding her?
Maybe.
I don't know what I'd be looking for.
So here,
Oh.
let's look at this real quick, and I'll try to help you out since you guys are a little confused. In our previous sessions, you guys ran into a subspace field, and you noticed that when you did that, the antimatter of the ship started leaking. Thrall going to start running some proton bursts to control that antimatter, but before he could do so, the ship was actually getting hit with proton bursts, right? And getting damaged. And remember, this was all to stop the antimatter from draining. So, this ship, you guys ran into the same thing. You ran into the subspace turbulence. However, Caval started his proton bursts and has contained the antimatter. So now, with everything that you've learned, there might be something in here that explains maybe why the power of the ship was draining so quickly. Or maybe that there was antimatter issues. And just so we can include Caval too, I would assume you guys would share this with your chief engineer as well.
Yeah, I'd be sending him the readings I've been getting since, being engineer, need to know about all these anomalies and things going on.
What? Now you bring me into this? Why haven't you said something earlier?
So you need to know basis. Lieutenant Commander.
Senior Lieutenant Commander, thank you very much. I want to check these findings against my own readings, against current status in the warp core, the engines, ship systems. I'm looking for anomalies. I'm looking for interruptions. I'm looking for things that might be on the ship that shouldn't be on the ship as far as energy signatures, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Waves that might have hit the ship. Anything of that nature, anything out of the ordinary.
And you're taking all of the information that was given from Commander Kullat and Lieutenant Grax. Sorry, you cut out for a second.
They said exactly.
Okay. Give me a control and engineering. Difficulty 3. Grax, give me a ship assist of communications and engineering.
And can I use one of our thingies?
Momentums?
Yes.
Yeah, for an extra dice, you can.
Yep.
Do it.
And since you're in engineering, your difficulty drops by 1.
And not bad, not bad, not bad.
Grax? Did we lose him? Sev?
Oh,
There you are.
I was on mute. Hello.
Can you give me a...
What's the roll?
Forlat's role was control and engineering for the ship. I needed
What's the ship roll?
sensors and engineering.
Sensors and engineer.
Hey, Admiral, can I clear this stress, or is this
Yeah,
alternative?
we're not worried about that right now.
I did not mean to roll 2 though. Sorry.
Okay, we'll use the first one. It's 1 success.
Yeah.
So you have 6 successes. What would you like to do with your momentum?
What are we at now with momentum? Sorry,
think
we
you're
are
at
at
fi- you're at
6.
I think we're.
Well, no, you were at 5. Sorry, I didn't mark it down.
How many momentum was that?
So 6. Your difficulty was 2. That's 4.
4. Well, bank 1, and then use the other 3 for additional information.
Okay. So with all this information that Commander Kullat and Lieutenant Grax has discovered, both with the scans of the ship, the scans of the area that Taria was found, the scans of Taria, and everything else, you're able to kind of put together that with what Taria spoke about, with what they have discovered, and with what you were doing in terms of draining or using the proton bursts to keep the antimatter from draining, it would explain. So, how do I want to put this? Your logical thought or conclusion right now is that the ship was draining power so fast because there's probably a duplicated ship.
So, are the implications, gentlemen? Can I speak frankly? This is what it seems to me. What we're looking at here, we have a mirror dimension. There's been a thinning of the dimension walls. We've created some sort of time loop where we split the time stream, and they're going to come back, crashing back together at some point. Or we have indeed created not necessarily a mirror image of ourselves, but through the use of considering what we were encountering and the countermeasures that were being implemented by your genius of a chief engineer, we might have a shadow of ourselves. Those are the 3 possible scenarios I could think of right now. Any additional thoughts, Commander Kullat? Does any of that seem to ring true to you?
Are we seeing any ongoing negative impact from this? Is there anything to be concerned with now?
And what is happening to the other ship right now? I'm sorry, Doctor. Commander Maricadi, does he seem to be a mirror image? Do we have 2 Commander Maricadis on board?
Not to our knowledge. The only duplicated crew member we know of right now is Taria.
And is the duplicate Taria, is she stable? Has there been any diminish in her signatures, her health, her capabilities? Does she appear to be fading away, for lack of better terminology?
Appears in good health.
Not that we've noticed. No, she appears to be in good health, other than the some of the bruises and cuts she received from whatever is going on that other ship.
Is she a duplicate or is she an echo, gentlemen? That is my
Commander Maricadi would say
my question right now.
We had Taria in here also when this Taria number 2 was in the med bay on the bed, if that makes sense. Our Taria came in and visited us. We spoke to her, and Commander Kullat has confined her to her deck.
And there was no apparent, I don't know, amplification of energies when they were that close to each other. That didn't seem to increase anything. You didn't feel uncomfortable.
Nothing that we
Anything
noticed,
of that
and
nature?
I scanned her as well.
And I didn't feel anything uncomfortable. I just saw an image of myself on a basically an exploded bridge, kind of what Taria was describing.
What is going on? What is going on here?
If we squished the 2 Tarias together,
Okay,
would
That
that,
would be-
collapse the phases?
well, it would be a lot of fun and very exciting. Maybe that's something, though, we should keep until after we've solved the larger problem.
We do have a hydraulic press on the ship, correct?
We can replicate one.
Has anyone thought to go back to where she was found and look? Is there perhaps a thinning of wall between realities? Thinning of barrier, whatever the proper term is, between realities? A passageway? Anything of that nature? I'm going to scan for that, Admiral. Or would that have been captured in my initial scans?
Or in my scan, I would bring those back to his attention.
Yeah, so Kullat had already scanned that area, which is what has kind of led you in this direction. That yes, there is evidence of duplicated matter where she was found. And that was outside that door.
And there was a subfield something outside, right?
Yeah, like a subspace
Subspace.
divergence.
Can we shoot antimatter into that to undo what has already been done?
So it does still exist, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Whatever that was. So theoretically, she could walk back into that, but potentially to her death if the ship on the other side is collapsing.
She did say that area of the ship was explodifying.
I propose putting on a hazard suit, full environmental suit, and sending someone into there. I'm willing to volunteer, Commander.
I'll tie the tether to him so we can pull him back out.
Commander
I say we do it.
Commander Maricadi looks at, hears it out, and contacts Captain Rose, and he updates him of the information, and he says, Captain Rose, excuse me, alive and well, says, I'm willing to test this theory. Commander Cavall, you guys suggested using this tether. I want you to prepare yourself for what might be on the other side. So if that means wearing a suit, I need you to do that. I want to protect you.
Thank you, Captain. That it was my idea, but if you want to pretend it's yours, I'm totally fine with that.
I was just reiterating it. I was just really driving it home.
Of course you were, Commander. Of course you were.
And lastly, Lieutenant Junior Grade Andal Grax.
Yes.
If there's anything that you can do for Caval before he enters this subspace medically, let's proceed with caution here.
Andorian steroids.
Well, I heard that there were 10cc shots of White Claw going around. Was that true, or is that just a rumor?
Yes, Synth Claw.
Synth Claw?
Synthaclaw.
And the captain severs his link with you. And so, is that what we're doing?
Don't be ridiculous, Kullat. There's no such thing as a Santa Claus.
Synthagadget. Go gadget.
Okay, I suit up. So the question is there anything to be gained by taking the existing or the secondary Taria similarly suited up along with me, number one? And number two, would there be any benefit in bringing a doctor along? If there's any aid we can render on the other side, or are we messing with things best left unmessed with?
Well,
She talked about piles of bodies, so he might get a little distracted.
Okay, so let's just stick to one individual, step through, see what the situation is, come back. Is that what we're going for?
I mean, 2 wouldn't be bad. It just he has to promise he's not going to stop and help all the dying.
Yeah, I guess. Otherwise, I was going to say maybe there's some sort of monitors I could place on you, and I don't know if the readings would come back through, but...
Does the EMH have a mobile emitter?
he does not. On Voyager, he does. But remember, you guys lost contact with Voyager and haven't heard from it.
Yeah, they weren't the brightest anyway.
I mean, if you want to whistle
I'll
like
go
that,
with
Doctor.
him and scan for signs. No, you can go with him. I picture the doctor being like, "Oh my God, everyone's dying. I've got to help them."
Probably.
It's
All
an
right.
oath of. It's a code.
I guess. What is the goal of this mission? What is our objective?
Well, first, this is all supposition at this point. We want to ascertain if there is indeed a duplicate or a shadow or a replica of the ship on the other side, and what the current status is. If we can interact with it, that's the first thing we're attempting to achieve. What happens after that, obviously, will depend on what we encounter.
Okay. Well, if you need my assistance, Commander, I would gladly join you.
Are you up for it, Doctor?
I'm up for anything. You know
Should
what
we?
I mean?
70s music
No,
begins
not at all.
playing.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Are we taking the secondary Taria with us? Is she up for it? I mean, she is.
We do.
She
we
is
should
security.
inform her. We should
Yes.
inform her of the situation.
She is security. She is trained for this sort of response. We're
Why
not
don't you go
throwing.
ahead and tell her about this and brief her?
Well, then let's do that. Commander Maricadi, do we have your agreement?
I do, Commander or Lieutenant Commander. Let's talk to her, see if she's up for it, and then I'll oversee it from the tether side.
Okay. So we go out to Taria. Is there even anyone else in the sickbay?
No.
Okay, so
Just the EMH kind of wandering around, working on some of Grax's useless projects.
Get out! No.
Basically.
Taria, this may be... Taria? Yes, Kuval. This may be difficult for you to handle. I'm ready, Kuval. And I preach her. Sorry, I don't preach her. I brief her. Oh my God! Wow, Freudian slip.
Their antennae twist together.
He got a shot through the shields here.
Okay, so I brief her and ask her if she's prepared to return, knowing full well the status of the ship when she left. It will most likely be just as bad. We will be accompanying her. If it's too bad, we will step back.
I enjoyed your back and forth. Go ahead and give me a presence and security. This is going to be from Caval. Presence and security. This is going to be a difficulty 2. And then if you could also roll, once you're done with this, I'll tell you. Kind of doing an opposed roll against yourself here, sort of.
Rolling against
Sanity check
myself.
for Taria.
Kind of. So Taria's
2
going to
successes.
roll the same thing.
Okay, stand by. Security and what was it? Control?
Presence and
Presence
security.
and security.
Presence and security. Okay, yeah. Oh, she's dumb.
She wants absolutely nothing to do with what you all are about to do.
Oh, that went the wrong way. I understand, Taria, but I think you forget yourself. You're training. You are security, part of the security team. You have been trained for this. I understand, Kuval. I just don't think I can handle it. The doc gave me a lot of white claws, synthaclaw, and I don't know if I'm up to it. Pull yourself together, woman. Smack. But she's just not having it.
She's not having it at all. Like,
Uh,
she's gonna throw down if you try and make her go.
This is a bit disappointing. You know this goes against everything our culture stands for. We will have words. Very well.
All deck
We'll have to go
fights.
without her. Doctor, are you joining me? Kullat, will you be joining us as well? In the place of Talia?
I'll remain
be
at the
joining.
opening to perform scans.
Then it's just you and me, Doctor. Let's do this thing.
Okay. So you're gonna put on an EV suit, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Taking a weapon
okay.
as well.
Phaser rifle,
Just a
Andorian knife,
Well, that anyway.
Doomsday device.
time bomb.
Oh, that might actually be the solution, Kullat. But let's see what we find
Yeah,
on the
take
other side.
Take an antimatter bomb with you.
You're gonna have to replicate that shit.
Presumably, Doctor, you'll be wearing a suit as well.
Yes, suit. I'll take a phaser and a tricorder with me.
Okay. Standard right tricorder or medical tricorder?
I didn't know there was a difference. Probably the medical one.
Yes, there is. And Val,
I'll bring a regular tricorder.
Okay. And what kind of weapon?
Just a standard phaser.
Okay. So you guys make it down to deck 15, and the area in which is in question here, and you're standing outside of it, the 4 of you. Kullat, Maricadi, Caval, and Grax are suited up.
Commander, I'd like to make a recommendation that we clear this deck. We don't know what the effects may be. We don't want to catch anyone unawares.
We could erect a force field. That should hold it.
What, you mean like we did with that luck god?
Well, you know, it sort of worked.
Okay.
Right? We can do a emergency force field or a medical force field here.
Okay. All right, Doctor. Prepare yourself. This could be rough. And it could be nothing. You could just be stepping into a empty room.
So Kullat, since this is tied up to them, who are you going to hold on to? Who's cord?
Well, we should we
I'm
have
tying
like
him
some
off
sort
to the
of
wall.
Time off the
yeah?
wall?
Is there like
Okay.
a winch or something we could bring from like engineering to bolt down and
The winch.
Yeah, there
already
could
said
be
she wasn't
there'd be
going.
something that you'd be able to.
Bravo.
Yeah, you could find something simple that kind of magnetizes to the wall that would hold them together. Or hold the cords on. Yeah. And that you don't even need to roll for that.
I step through and I realize I just tied the cables together and not to anything.
Why is your end connected to my end?
And the opening closes.
And that's the end of this scenario.
All right, Admiral. Commander, we're stepping through. Doctor, prepare yourself. Could be a bit rough.
Good luck.
And tricorder in one hand, phaser in the other hand. I step through first.
You step through first, and everything around you is in utter destruction and destroyed. Your tricorder, give me reason and science difficulty 2 here. I'll tell you what your tricorder says in a minute. But all around you is damage. There are some sparks. They don't seem to be to the extent that Taria discussed. Down the hall, you do see a nice, large gap that goes right out into space. But it seems to be contained. Maybe it's by the shields. Maybe it's by the shields. But you do see that there's like the bluish hue that kind of holds the ship together. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, I do.
You'll see that, but you're still able to see outside in space. Down the hall, you see shadows flickering.
Shadows.
From maybe there's fire, maybe it looks like there's movement. You don't know. And your tricorder, it's telling you that it's a breathable atmosphere.
I keep the suit on. That hole. I run to that breach.
Okay.
Can I repair it?
No. Not.
I'm looking for. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But the breach is contained. But
yes, no, I understand that. But is there anything I can do to reinforce this? That this is just a temporary containment. This isn't an actual physical.
Oh, no, not with what you have. No.
Yes, but is there a repair kit panel on other side of the bulkhead? Emergency.
Yeah, there would be one there. That like an engineering kit kind of like you would find a medical kit. Yeah, that'd be there.
So I ripped that open. And is this the hatch that the kid flew through? I mean,
the Jericho Winchester?
Yeah.
Want silence? Yes, this is the hatch that Jericho Winchester had met his fate.
Okay, I'm going to use my skills as chief. I wish I was chief science officer. I'm not good enough looking for one thing. As chief engineer, to seal this hole.
Okay, control and engineering difficulty 3. And while he's doing that, Doctor, you follow through as well. And you see him standing over by the breach. You see the same things. The destruction, the flames and the sparks. You see off to the side where the breach is. You can see out into space, but you can see that the ship's shields seem to be containing it. And then down the hallway, you see the same thing. Flickers of light that have movement of shadows. Maybe it's just the flicker of whatever's burning. Maybe it's somebody standing there.
Can I use... I'm sorry. I apologize, Doc. Can I use a thingy, a momentum for an extra die?
Yes.
Excellent.
The first thing I would try and do is see if I can communicate back through this rift or whatever it is we stepped through.
Okay.
So I'd hit my badge and say, Commander Kullat, can you hear me?
You get nothing back.
Okay.
Try tapping Morse code on your line. Pull it taut and tap on the line.
Did we attach a can to the end of the line? I guess I would creep up to the corner and look around and see what those shadows are that we're seeing on the wall there.
You see some Starfleet officers in torn up uniforms doing repair work, basic repair work. And Caval, your abilities do seal that spot, but if the shields would fail, it would inevitably not contain it. It would take some time, but it would not contain it.
Okay. All right. So I basically put a Band-Aid on. It's still better. It's still better than nothing. Okay. I spin around. Do I see the doctor?
You see him walking down the hall.
Doctor, where are you going?
I'm just looking around the hall here, and I would come back to where you're at and say there appears to be some officers around the corner over there addressing some repairs.
I don't know that it would be in their or our best interests to interact at this point. I think we've already ascertained what we could. We've probably overstayed our welcome. We should probably head back.
Both of you give me a daring and security difficulty 3.
Doc?
I'm going to add a dice to that with momentum.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that.
Wow.
So, Caval, maybe it's his Andorian training. He's as silent as a mouse. You would never have known he was there. Grax, on the other hand, kicks a conduit piece on the ground, which causes some commotion and disturbance, and it causes the Starfleet officers to turn around. And they do see you at this point, and they shout, "What's going on? You don't need the suit, you can breathe."
Just being cautious. Just being cautious. This was the main breach. It's been contained. Continue on, Ensign.
He starts walking towards you and he says, "Who are you?"
Who am I? Who am I? Lieutenant Commander Caval.
Why aren't you in engineering?
Because of the nature of this breach. Why are you questioning me, Ensign?
Because you sent me here, sir?
Exactly, and I've come to check on you, Ensign. So, hey, here's an idea. Why don't you get back to work, and you won't spend the next 3 months on rotor inventory duty.
I just came off rotor inventory duty. Sir, that's fine. I'll go back. I'm sorry to bother you. I just want to know, should we have suits on since you do?
No, you're fine. You're fine. Only valuable personnel need to wear suits.
Okay. Give me 1 second here.
Your red shirt is all the protection you need. Starfleet makes those especial.
Asbestial?
Especial.
Especial, not asbestos. Okay.
Well, there is asbestos in the shirt that slows down the fire when they catch. But...
And one more. 1 second. So he turns and he's like, "Okay, sir." And he walks back to his buddy over there that's also working on damage control. And he tells him the story. And he kind of glances back and does the shifty eyes. He's not sure. And so he...
We just need a couple of seconds to just duck out of sight. That's all we need. If they need time to think about it, we're out of here.
If you're moving, that's fine. I'll keep explaining what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Is that what you're doing, though? Is that what you're both doing?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So he taps his comm badge, and he calls for Commander Caval. So you're currently on a destroyed ship, and you're in engineering with the rest of the crew. Caval, number 1, and you get the chirp.
This is Caval.
Sir? Or what do you... Did you send a team down after us?
What are you saying, Ensign? Ensign, we only have a limited number of teams. We have multiple points of potential breach. Are you asking for assistance? You're just going to have to hold fast.
My partner, Jam,
is this a necessary call?
Yes, sir. Because I'm looking right at you.
Ensign, I do not have time for your pink skin games. Please continue with your repairs. Contact me when you're complete, when they are done.
Did you sever the link?
I sever the link.
Ensign, it sounds like you need an EVA suit because you're not breathing enough oxygen.
Okay. And so you guys are sneaking away and they go back to their duties.
Do we go back through?
Are you going back through?
We attempt to go back through.
Pull twice on the line.
Chunk, chunk.
Boop. So you guys make it back through with no issue.
Okay. And Commanders Kullat and Maricadi are there waiting for us on the other side.
Yes. Yep. And Commander Maricadi scans you real quick and with his tricorder.
That's what I was going to do.
Oh, okay, then go ahead. Because you're the player, so you go ahead. Give me reason and
and
science.
I'm the science officer, so...
Reason and science, Vulcan.
Whoa, I don't like how you threw that out there like that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Reason and science, you pointy-eared guy.
That's worse.
Well, take one. Okay. So you get the readings that they...
Well, wait. Sorry. Never mind.
Okay.
Continue. Too late.
Your readings give you the same exact readings that you received from the conduit that you found and from Aria number 1.
Oh, so now they show as basic?
They show to have the
Basic bitches?
the duplicated matter upon them. Yes.
Just upon them? Can
Upon
we
them.
throw them in an emergency
They're-
hazmat shower?
You don't have any issues from that. You just can tell that they have been
They were
through some
swimming in
sort
it.
of phase shift. Yes.
But it's not now inherent in their physical makeup.
They're healthy. They're fine. There's a second one wasn't made, or a third one, or fourth one.
Our DNA hasn't been overwritten in any way.
Correct. And so Commander Maricadi would say, report.
There is indeed a duplicate surprise on the other side of that rift. It has suffered major damages. It appears to be stable, but uncertain for how long. And I was approached by an ensign who was aware of who Chief Engineer Kullat is. So it seems to bear out what Taria number 2 has told us. The question, of course, now, Commander, is what are the implications and how do we rectify this situation? And is it dangerous to have the secondary Taria here on board?
How do we get rid of this portal or this entry to the other ship? I can't imagine it's good to have this existing here. Commander Kullat, do you know how this works? How is it tied to this ship?
I do not, Doctor. Kullat, I would have to defer to you as far as what the physics of the situation is, what the implications are. Mechanically, we do not appear to be in any immediate danger. But is this a loop? Is this a divergence? Is this permanent? Should we be attempting to help our other selves? I don't know. Will it end once we... Well, what is our status right now? Admiral, can you remind me? Are we currently in warp?
No, you are having issues moving as well. You can't
Okay.
move forward. But your ship
and we don't
is
know why.
undamaged. Correct.
Is it a case that we don't know why we can't move forward?
Yes.
Then that would imply that we have some sort of connection, and until their situation is rectified, or until the loop is collapsed, or until they're reabsorbed, we will not be able to move as well.
Should we
Okay.
apply antimatter to this area on the deck?
What are you suggesting, Doctor? That we blow up our alternate selves?
Well, Commander Kullat had inferred that applying antimatter to these duplicate particles seems to get rid of them in a perhaps non-reactive way.
The question we have yet, though, to determine is this an echo, or is this an actual alternative timeline? I could
Well,
not, in
what
good
if
conscience.
We are the echo.
Whoa.
And the
No, I
command,
could
and
not-
Maricadi stands in and he's like, what if he's right? What if we destroy that ship or try to and it destroys us?
I cannot, in good conscience, advocate or support any sort of decision to inflict damage onto our mirrored selves. We don't know if we are, as you just asked, if we're the shadow.
Commander
I
Kullat.
find it prudent to study, to find a way to either disentangle ourselves or sever our connection to this alternate ship. In the meantime, perhaps we can replicate some supplies to help them stabilize their ship.
So that is the question. Do we reach out to them?
Did you interact with anyone over on that side?
I was approached by an ensign. I was able to dissuade him of pursuing the matter, at which point we left.
Well, perhaps you could leave supplies behind in that area and draw their attention to it on your way out, or we could just push supplies through. At any rate, I'd like to begin immediately to study for a way to disentangle ourselves.
And I'm going to give it some thought, Admiral. What supplies could we provide them if they're having some sort of antimatter problem or power issue? Could
Replicate
we?
some gens.
Yeah, is there something we could put through?
You could probably put through anything that you feel that might help them. Just remember that on your side, on your undamaged ship, you were performing proton bursts that were containing the antimatter, right? And that ship was getting hit by proton bursts.
Well, tell me this.
So
Okay, wait a second. Are they
that for
getting
Taria,
hit by
right?
our proton bursts? Are they suffering some sort of? Is our situation stable? Are we still? That was a one-time thing. That was a one-time thing to bring us back online to overpower the nacelles and bring our systems back online.
are you talking about the damaged surprise?
No, this surprise.
This surprise.
Right? Isn't that? Yes. Isn't that what we did? I mean, that successfully. That's why Caval was bypassing the injectors.
Oh no,
to
that was
over-
that was on your damaged ship.
Oh, that
That
didn't
was on
happen
the
on
ship
this
you
ship.
guys just correct. This ship that you're on right now is undamaged. So let's look at this is surprise number 2. Undamaged.
Yeah.
Was just
Okay.
running
No,
regular
I-
proton bursts.
So it never. Well, why was I running regular proton bursts on?
You
Burst
were
on number
trying
2.
to contain the antimatter leak when you guys hit the subspace turbulence.
Okay, so what is our status now?
The proton bursts that you were doing were containing the antimatter. The ship just can't move forward.
Okay, but are we still doing? Can we cease with that action? Can we
Yes.
return to normal service?
Yes. We can try. See what happens.
Okay, well then I'm going to concentrate on that. in this version of the surprise, in just returning systems to nominal, to normal, no more bursts.
Okay. Are you going back to engineering to do that, or are you ordering something?
Yes.
To do that?
I'm going to go back to engineering to do that.
Okay. And I'll start with that. If you want to go ahead and go in there and stop that, it's going to be, you aren't even going to have to roll for it. You can stop. You can just type it into the computer and it'll stop. And since you're going to engineering, is anybody else, what is it the other two doing?
I would probably go back to medbay and keep an eye on Taria number 2. Maybe try and work on convincing her to go back through to her reality. Unless Commander Kullat needs my help in further researching this.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I'd be
System
going
was
to
contained. Sorry, Kullat.
I'd be going to a terminal to start just seeing if there's a connection between the proton bursts and the subspace field anomaly.
Okay. And two things. You give me a roll, Kullat, of reason and engineering, difficulty 2. And while you do that, Vol, once you go back into engineering, you shut down the proton bursts to your antimatter, and you notice that the computer alerts again and states that for no reason the antimatter is draining.
Is there any way to repair it that I can see?
The only way that you were able to tell so far is that it was due to the proton bursts were keeping it in check.
And there's no way to repair it, as far as I can tell.
As far as you can tell.
What's the rate of drainage?
It's basically like if... Give me an insight in engineering, difficulty 1. Because I'm gonna, with Kullat, what are you doing with your momentum?
Extra informations.
Okay.
What are the systems? What am I working on? Can I use a focus?
Insight and engineering, so anything that has to do with warp core, let me see your focuses.
Electroplasm power systems and warp field dynamics?
Yeah, that fits.
Okay. Oh, jeez. Well, that sucked.
Okay. You're not able to find anything else, Cabal. You kind of seem to want to stick to your guns when it comes to your previous method, and that was just using the proton bursts.
And what did you say the rate of decrease was?
Your guess is that it seems to be like something else is using it.
Yeah, but what? How long before we run out of operational power?
Without the proton bursts and it's draining.
Yes.
Probably about 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. I start up the proton bursts again. Are we bombarding that other ship with our proton bursts? Is that what's causing damage? And they are draining our power.
So, going to Kullat's further computer, insight, digging. Kullat, so is everybody talking to each other? Are you guys sharing information, or are you just...
Yes, absolutely. At least from my side.
Okay. Kullat, so you with the information gathered so far, after you talk to Caval and what he says, it would kind of make sense, or it would seem that the reason the antimatter drains without the proton bursts is because maybe this other ship is using it as well. And what you've learned so far, it would only be logical to logic would dictate that the proton bursts that you guys are doing might be affecting the other ship, but you don't know that from this side.
Didn't we already know that?
No. Not that I'm aware of. I don't think. You're I don't think so?
I think I got confused there. So basically, I just learned that we might be affecting them with our proton bursts.
Yes. And you've also learned that with what Caval just tried to do, by turning them off, by stopping them with the antimatter draining, it might make sense that maybe both ships are using the one power source, because antimatter doesn't seem to be duplicated based on your earlier studies.
Okay, well, I'm looking, I guess my next thing I'm researching is seeing what's entangling us together. Because we need to be separated to stop that.
Okay.
Hey, what about anti-proton bursts?
Maybe. Guess it depends.
I'll investigate it.
Okay.
Electron bursts.
Um,
Up quark bursts.
Kullat?
String theory.
Give me a insight and engineering difficulty 2.
Who is this?
Kullat.
Kullat.
Grax, are you doing anything?
At this point, no. Just in the med bay, keep an eye on Taria number 2, unless either of them need help with something.
Has he been able to convince her to reconsider her previous stance?
Did you try to do that yet, Grax?
Yeah, I would have been trying to do that, and just basically insisting that we don't know the medical implications of her being in this reality for an extended period of time.
Okay.
She could also be a go-to. A go-between, if we wanted to establish contact with the other crew.
That's true.
With the information you gave her about the expedition that you and Caval just did, give me a presence in command, difficulty 1.
Okay.
And Kullat, you...
Can I use medicine instead of command because of my talent that I'm going to put in the chat here?
Yes.
Okay. So it was daring and now medicine? Is that what it was?
For you, yes. No, presence in
Okay.
medicine, excuse me.
Presence. Okay. Presence, medicine. What was the difficulty?
1.
Oh, okay.
Just from a game mechanics point of view, it doesn't really mean anything to us when you say what's the difficulty. We just roll regardless. You're the one tracking the difficulty and the implications, right? And
Yes.
the impact.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
If it's higher difficulty, I might use momentum to add another die, though, because at a certain
good
difficulty,
point.
you can't achieve success without doing that.
Yeah, I honestly was not trying to correct you in any way. It's just I keep confusing difficulty with the complication range.
Oh,
And so I was
Okay.
just asking for clarification.
So, think of it this way: your roll, without complication, just your roll, and it's success. Say you want to do a backflip. I'm gonna have you do a daring and daring and security, difficulty 1. If you if you roll success, if you roll your 2 dice, and you get 1 success, you succeed. If you roll 2 successes, you get 1 success and a momentum. So you could use that to be in a show off. You know what I mean? If you get 0 successes, you fail your backflip. Now, real quick, and not to go off completely topic, you get your 1 success, right? But you roll a complication. So you do your backflip, but you land and hurt your ankle. So the complications add a little bit of issue to whatever your result might be of that task.
Understood. Thank you for the clarification.
Welcome. Real quick, to go back to Kullat, you think that you might be able to pull the ships apart by utilizing the deflector dish and maybe sending out some sort of like depolarization pulse or something like that.
Carry.
And Doctor, she is... Thanks, Distils, for the random photon torpedo. We'll have to figure out where we can put that. Doctor, you are able to convince her, but I want to hear what you want to say.
okay. So I just basically start explaining what I said before, where I'd say, Taria, I understand that you're scared about the current situation, and
I am.
you're not sure about stepping back through to the other side.
I'm not.
To your own reality, but you should also realize that we don't understand the situation fully, and staying on this side, being composed of duplicate particles in our reality, may have dire consequences for you. There may be medical anomalies that occur within your very molecules.
Doctor, has
And
anyone ever told you you have kind eyes?
As a matter of fact, yes, I get that very often. Thank you. And in addition to this, if you were to step back through and inform the officers and those in command on that side of what the current situation is and what we found here, perhaps we can work together to uncouple ourselves and move forward.
Will I ever see you again?
Of course, I'm sure there is a Andal Grax on the other side.
Yeah, but that guy's an asshole. He's not like you.
Well, we'll see. Perhaps I can join you. But for now, I need you to step back through.
So she's willing to do that, and if that's what she's gonna do real quick, we can switch to that for a minute. You guys are good with that?
Sure.
So Taria, number 1. You step back through.
Wait a second. I thought she
Sorry.
was number 2.
He's been calling the exploded universe number 1, I think.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
thank you.
Are we sending anything
Sorry.
back with her? Are we sending anything, I don't know what we would send at this point, to be perfectly
I
honest.
guess she would
I kinda
probably know what
reversed
they
on
need,
that.
right?
I was thinking that would be cool at first, but now that all this duplicate particle crap we've been talking about, maybe it's best not to
yeah.
send anything through.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. All right. So she takes a deep breath, casts one last look at the doctor, and then steps through.
And
That's our universe oxygen. Spit that out.
she steps through to surprise number 1, damage and destruction, seeing the same things that Lieutenant Commander Caval and Bright Eyes Dr. Grax saw. And strangely enough, the 2 engineers that were working on the area are actually kind of standing right there as she steps through.
Does she know them?
She does.
She looks at them both. I need to talk to the commander right away. There's some sort of rift. Where are they?
We just saw you walk through it. They're in engineering. They had to evacuate the bridge due to a hull breach.
Is the ship stable?
Currently, yes, thanks to the engineer extraordinaire. He was able to restore power to put shields in structural integrity. That has helped contain, but we're still getting hit by whatever these blasts are.
Well, I need to talk to the officers right away, and I'm sure it wasn't the engineer who fixed it. I'm sure it was the doctor, but I'll tell you that story later.
Okay, so is she running to engineering?
Yes.
Okay, so in engineering, this is on the first ship. Kullat, you were in there with Caval, and now also Maricadi and Reinach Vogt, the other 2 from the bridge, are in there, and it's basically engineering is running the ship from the bridge, since they can't run the ship from the bridge. Wait, is running the ship from engineering because they can't run the ship from the bridge. Thank you. Sorry.
So I approach them. Taria approaches them, and Commander, I need to speak to you immediately. I think I might know the cause of our current situation, if not necessarily the solution.
Commander Maricadi? Or
who's ever there. Who's
ever
there in the room.
Everybody's there. Yeah, they're all there.
And then, without waiting for them to authorize my, to giving me permission to speak, I then I regale them with the tale of my travels. And in order to mitigate the amount of crazy that's coming out of my mouth right now, I emphasize the scientific aspect of it first, that their pulses, to contain their antimatter drain is potentially what is damaging our ship, and what the current thought is, what the current theories are on the other ship, and then flesh out the story as I go along.
Upon hearing this information, Kullat says, I do recall reading about an experiment in which quantum theorists duplicated a single particle of matter using divergence of subspace fields called a spatial scission.
Your other self said the exact same thing.
He is quite logical.
Sev, you're also controlling Reinach Vogt here too, so.
Oh, okay.
This is very important. What else did my alternate self say to you?
Well, besides a few inappropriate comments, he was looking into how to disentangle the 2 ships. I thought there might be some risk of cross-contamination, and the rest of it. I don't remember everything.
And Maricadi also kind of butts in. What's the status of their ship? How much damage do they have?
Absolutely no damage, Commander, except for the consistent and constant drain on their antimatter drive. Which they're countering with proton blasts.
So,
Those bursts must be what's damaging us, it seems. Is our engine somehow draining their antimatter? Is that where the entanglement is, Commander Kullat?
That sounds likely. Would would they have experienced the momentary pause of when
He stopped doing the bursts?
when Cabal 2 stopped doing the bursts?
Yes, they would have.
And what else did they feel like? Did they feel happier? Were they more at peace?
No, they just also had a drain in antimatter.
So Kullat on this side would start researching based on what Taria here said. Does he reach a similar conclusion about what was it, a polar burst from the Kama ray or whatever?
From the deflector dish?
Deflector
Yes.
dish is what I said.
And this Kullat, give me a reason and engineering difficulty 2, please.
I'm gonna do a focus with physics.
Okay.
Just close.
Cabal is going to investigate. Where do these pulses appear to be coming from? Do they seem directional in any way?
No,
They're just happening.
they're just happening.
And if we were to shut down our engines to the bare minimum, just life support, what would be the impact as far as the containment fields? The containment fields were for attempted warp, but now that we're no longer in warp or attempting to go to warp, how essential are those warp bubble? Because that was what the containment field was for, right? To reinforce the warp bubble. That was our original theory. Is that still a requirement? You had said earlier that the other Cabal, what he had done as far as the breach was concerned was only a band-aid that without these fields, containment fields, that the ship would still tear apart, correct?
That area, yes. Yeah, and if they didn't have the extra power to structural integrity and currently to the shields, that will inevitably tear the ship apart.
Even if we're not moving.
Yes.
So we are still in a tenuous situation, obviously, but we are still. Does our energy needs outstrip our current energy generation? I overcharged the nacelles, but that is obviously just a temporary measure. It's going to regulate itself and normalize itself at some point.
Yeah,
Is that a fair assumption?
You could bring down power from the nacelles, and are you saying keep it at structural integrity and the shields, and utilize that power maybe elsewhere?
Potentially. I'm intent on normalizing systems. That's what I'm attempting to do. Stop operating at this above normal, I don't know, stresses rate, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Can I decrease the drain on the nacelles without jeopardizing the ship or our own safety?
You could try. Yeah, you could try. Yes,
Is that a roll?
it will be. Yeah.
I would like to try, please.
Okay. 1 second. Cabal. With your roll, you learn or you devise that to do the polarization and then the deflector dish, you come to the same thing and the same conclusion that your other self did, right? But you also know that to do so, you need to do it right. You believe that you're going to need to time this right with this other ship.
Interesting.
Well, we could send Taria back with a note that tells other Kullat at 9 o'clock, or in 20 minutes, engage at this frequency.
Intriguing.
Here's another thought, though. If the antimatter is the issue, can we generate antimatter? Or do we have a finite?
I believe you have a finite amount. You'd have to get more.
And is this because of the damage we suffered?
I don't believe that they can create antimatter. I think they have to get it somewhere else. If I'm remembering my Star Trek
Oh,
lore,
yeah. I know what
they
you're
have
saying.
to fill up their ship somewhere
Sure.
somehow, and to be able to kind of regenerate or replenish those, it needs to be brought to them. It can't be made on that ship.
Gotcha.
A separate idea. Canonically, warp cores have been ejected. So, what if we ejected? What if Universe 1 ejected their warp core backwards, and Universe B ejected theirs forwards? Would that disentangle our antimatters, and we could impulse drive away from each other and then recollect our cores?
Maybe.
I punch that into the computer as an idea and start some modeling.
So is that what you're focused on right now, Kullat?
Yes.
Okay. And Kaval? Sorry, go ahead.
Because I just feel like that would be an easier thing than trying to time up the other one perfectly.
Okay.
I mean, we'd still send a message back.
Okay.
Are you sharing that information, Kullat, Commander?
Yeah, I would have been conjecturing that out loud.
Okay. Then, in anticipation of that, I think that action. I still want to decrease stress on the nacelle in any way I can.
Okay. You can you'll be able to basically shut them down if that's what you want to do.
I didn't want to actually shut them down per se. The whole process was to bring them back online. That's why I did it in the first place. But I don't want them to be in this stressed out.
Do you want them operating with minimal power?
Yes.
Okay. Then you can do that. Go ahead and give me a control and engineering. This is going to be a difficulty 3. And then on the ship, Grax, if you could roll me a engines and engineering.
3 successes.
I tried.
Okay, well, he still succeeded. So you're able to pull, drain, reallocate the power from the cells safely.
Okay.
What would you just going to kind of hold off on using that or doing anything with it, or are you going to put it somewhere?
No, the intent is to normalize systems as much as possible. I'm concerned that the stressing out of our nacelles might be what's causing our sister ship the issues that they're suffering.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. Val, I need from you a Reason and Science, difficulty 3.
Wait, did you say me?
Did I say Cabal? I meant Kullat. Sorry.
Oh, thank God, because those were my absolute worst skills.
You said reason and science,
Reason and Science, please.
and that's a difficulty 3,
Difficulty 3.
like a momentum and a focus I mean, I don't want to overuse the physics, but I feel like it would apply still.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's what it's there for.
Come on, Kullat. Oh, yeah! Boom!
And momentum, sir?
Extra information on what I find in my experiments and simulations.
Okay. You're able to devise that theoretically, if you both jettison the warp cores and then come back to them, it could
Opposite directions.
It could solve the issue. But your logic tells you that by doing so, it's not going to solve the issue.
We'd still be entangled.
You'd still be entangled.
Entangulate. So I would share that with the room. My idea to jettison the warp cores and antimatter fails simulation and further testing, so I will put my energy back into the polar burst from the deflector arrays.
Maricadi looks at Taria. Had you shared the information, Kullat, about the having to be in touch to do the depolarization?
Yeah, I mentioned before jumping into the new idea that we would have to send a message back in order to time up.
So
Deflection.
Maricadi would look to Taria and say, Taria, would you be willing to deliver the message at a certain time that we're going to try and depolarize this, utilizing the deflector dish, and send a depolarization pulse to see if this will pull us out of phase?
And see the doctor again? Absolutely, Commander. Yeah, let me write that down. Deflector dish, polar arrays. What else was there?
And Maricadi looks at his Starfleet issued watch and states, in 10 minutes, we can do this. At this
Understood.
time, and he kind of looks down and he looks at the computers to ensure that the watches are of the same time, and he hands his Starfleet issued watch to her so that the time would be the same. in case
Are they
theirs
Mickey
was
Mouse
off.
hands?
They are, yes. Minnie Mouse, actually. Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse. Okay. Okay. She takes the watch and runs back to the
Star
portal.
Wars Enterprise.
So you get over there safe. You don't have any issues, Taria. You're able to do that. And
she's just able to step right through that, huh?
just wipe
Does it feel
right
like-
through.
Does it feel like stepping through jelly?
But
Just
it actually makes more of a.
Is there anyone on the other side? Waiting on the other side?
No, the ship seems to be operating like normal. So there's people walking around and such.
But there's nobody
But-
standing there waiting on the other side?
I don't know. Did you ask anybody to stand on the
They
other
didn't-
side?
They didn't think she was coming back.
Wow.
They
these
thought
guys-
they
Is
were-
her heart broken right now?
What?
I'd be on the other side.
Oh.
Andor Grax would be
Just
waiting.
creepily staring into the void.
Yep.
Right in
knew
his-
I knew I could count on you, Doctor. I have a message from the other side.
I'm glad to see you made it back safely. What is the message?
I grasp his hands in mine, and I stare into his eyes. And something about director dish in 8 minutes and counting.
8 minutes and counting. I'd use the communicator and say, Commander Cavall. This is Lieutenant Junior Grade Andal Grax. Do you read?
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, I forgot who I was. Go ahead.
I was so enthralled with being Taria.
Yeah, sorry, I was really getting into that.
I have the Taria from the other ship here. She says that we need to. There's some action that we need to take at the same time as the other ship, it seems, and we need to meet, perhaps in engineering, and go over all of this quickly.
Oh, all right. How soon?
Immediately.
Then you're going to need to send her back through so that she's on her proper ship when it happens. We don't have time to spare.
Understood.
Sparta kick.
And make sure get the proper information from her.
All right, I would actually get out a I don't know, I guess would it go on the tricorder? Does the tricorder take notes? Can I put on there all the information I need to give from her?
Note to self. This is what she just said. Yeah, you can do.
Dear self.
Okay. Yeah.
How are you? I am fine.
Basically, I would record all this information some way so that I could transport it over without, messing anything up.
Dear self. Give this when you meet Taria.
Anyways,
delete that.
Her blue skin makes me physically ill, but I have to keep up the charade because she seems to like me.
Yeah, you're just saying that because you're a Vulcan. Okay, so Cavall in Universe 2 gets to work on undertaking those actions, syncing that up in the time agreed.
Okay, and who else did you share this information with, Grax? Anybody, or just Cavall?
I guess I would communicate that out to everyone that's been involved. So Commander Maricadi and Kullat.
At least that was your last consideration.
So Kullat, you would know that was the same idea that you had, and so you would know how to perform that.
Logically. Logic, my dear Watson.
So, are we able to do this, Admiral?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's try it out and see what happens.
Do this.
Gentlemen.
I'm going to use momentum as well.
Okay. So, we're doing here. I'm gonna need a daring or control plus engineering difficulty 4.
What? Oh, well,
and I'm spending 2 threat.
What?
To up your complication range. So it'll be 2. Your complication range will be 2.
I'm assisting on this.
Gentlemen, do you mind
use
if I
all
use
the momentum you can?
Okay,
yeah.
good. Yeah, then I'm using 3 momentum. I'm upping my dice to 5.
Okay, so I need a daring or control.
Yeah.
Plus engineering. And Grax,
Right.
before you roll, Grax engines and science, please. And Kullat, you'll roll the same thing. Are you doing daring or are you doing control, Cavall?
I'm doing control.
All right, so
Doing control.
then you'll do control and engineering with 1 dice. So go ahead and everybody roll.
I only get 1.
Come on, baby.
Cool.
There was a complication, but 5 successes.
How many do we need?
4.
We needed 4.
Well, both
Another
of mine
2
can go
successes.
to canceling the complication.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Are you guys prepared for what happens?
Without the complications.
Without the complications.
Just stressing that. Pretty stressed.
This bullshit.
Where's the doctor right now?
He's
He should be
probably
able
down
to
in
heal
India.
us.
He's
Yeah.
probably longingly thinking about. He's actually standing at the console, being a creep. He's got Taria's Starfleet record up in front, and he's got her picture enlarged, and he's just standing there. Curling.
Thinking,
He's
Holding
curling
the
his hair.
watch close to his heart.
she won't even know who I am. Okay, what happens?
So, let me find this here. So you guys send that pulse out through the deflector dish. Both ships do this. There's shuddering and jolting on both sides of the ship. It starts to get intense. It starts to feel like you might get thrown out of the across the room if you weren't sitting in your seat and gripping it like Rekkert does to control it. And both ships actually start to go further out of phase. And it's not long before the computers come overhead, and on both ships, this is what you hear.
Warning, warp core breach a lot sooner than you think.
Did that say a lot sooner than you think?
It did.
Nice.
So you have to quickly tell me what you want to do at this point.
Oh, contain the breach, obviously.
There's one way you can do that.
Proton bursts.
What did you just do?
Polarization deflector dish.
Stop it.
Pick a different pole.
You got to stop the dish. You got to stop sending it.
This is a deep dish.
It is.
Okay, well then we stop.
Okay.
I mean, we've succeeded.
Shutting it down is easy. So that's not going to
Right.
require a roll.
He finds
Okay.
that break.
When the procedure shuts down for the undamaged surprise, when the procedure shuts down, you get a warning that both the shields and the weapons go offline. On the surprise number 1, you get an alert that the antimatter leak that was once there has turned into a hemorrhage, and the ship is going to be out of power in 20 minutes. We'll probably be able to finish this up if you guys are okay with the ride. Depending on how long-winded you each are.
Okay, continue.
Okay. So those are the warnings you just received.
Well, if we're talking about the undamaged one, that's not a big deal. You said it was weapons and what?
Shields and weapons.
Is the impulse engines back online? Can we move?
For ship number 1 or 2?
Dose.
The undamaged.
You can try.
Commander Maricadi, Thrall, do you want to kick this baby into gear?
We could try that. Commander Cavall. Oh my gosh. Table quests.
Party
Table
of 10.
Quest is rating a party of 10. Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome.
Wow.
We're doing Star
Thank
Trek
you,
Adventures.
Table quests.
Muchos. So you call up, and Commander Maricadi looks at Thrall, and he looks back at him, and he says, "We tried. We tried this. Hello. Oh, we can try it again.
Punch it!
Raid." Okay. So while Thrall, let's do that. Thrall, whoops. He's gonna try and do that for you. That and that. Doing something here. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. Don't you worry about me.
Never mind the man behind the curtain.
Thank you
Never
for
mind the
that
man
follow.
behind the
Yeah,
curtain.
that Ben.
Wow, I've got quite a few follows going on there.
So
Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you very much. Kendra is lost.
We've got kind of a mirror reality sort of thing going on here. Found a rift between the two ships. Got duplicate people coming through. We're trying to figure out how to detangle ourselves from the other reality.
So Thrall punches in the ability to try and move forward, and the sound goes off. And you don't go anywhere. You hit the same wall that you did.
Son of a...
Reinach Vogt, I need something from you right now. And that is... Oh, where'd it go? Yep. Give me a control in science. Difficulty 1. And I'm... Ship sensors, Caval. Sensors and security, please.
Control and science from Reinach?
Yep.
Sensors and security. 1 die. Whip. Oh yeah!
Okay. Perfect. Sev, look at your Discord. While he's doing that, Hades, Kullat, give me a control in engineering, and Cabal, give me a communications in engineering.
Commander, it appears that a Borg sphere has detected us and is heading right for us. Our weapons and shields are still offline.
Kullat, you just received this hail sound.
On screen.
On screen. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And this is what you hear.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
That's not good.
Damn it! Sounds like something Sev would say.
Our shields are already down, so we don't really have an option on that one.
Yeah, but we can try to bring them back up.
That's what Reinach would probably be working on, is trying to bring shields and weapons back online.
Which ship?
Good question. Are they both down and both experiencing the Borg incoming?
No, this is number 2, right? This is the secondary reality.
Maybe?
This is the undamaged ship?
This is the undamaged ship. They're the ones that lost their shields and weapons. Cabal is going to attempt to bring those back online. In Cabal number 2.
Kullat would assist in that endeavor.
To bring the weapons and shields back online?
Yep.
Yeah, with an emphasis on the shields first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
So, from you, I need the control and engineering with a difficulty of 4.
A 4? Son of a bitch. How are we on momentum?
You have 3.
If you need to use it, go for it, because otherwise...
Yeah, then I'm going to use 2 of them. Alright, here goes. 5, 9, 10, 7.
Nice.
Yeah! 4. Ho ho! Nice.
Okay. So you're going to be able to get the weapons and shields back online. But is it your ship that's being attacked? Or is it their ship?
Well, the implication was, wait a second, are you implying that Ship 2 is picking up communications from Ship 1? Well, what's going on Ship 1?
We're going over to Ship 1 now. On the bridge, you hear the same messages that the Ship 1 had heard, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, no. Oh, no.
all of a sudden, Reinach Vocht. I'm gonna need a control in science, please.
Rhino socks.
You aren't detecting a sphere. At all.
Okay. Commander, I'm not detecting any Borg spheres at all.
You heard the message, but you're not detecting a sphere.
So what's going on in number 2? Do they see a sphere? A sphere?
Give me that roll,
Yes,
bud.
sounds like it.
Yes,
Oh.
you will see a sphere.
Yeah, that's what Reinach had seen.
You've
And it's heading
confirmed
right for us.
there's a sphere there.
So the undamaged ship is the one that's actually has the sphere approaching, right?
Correct.
So that implies a loop. They're now experiencing what the USS Surprise number 1 experienced half an hour ago to an hour ago.
I think so,
No.
or something like that.
Half hour to an hour ago, all they heard was subspace communications. The ship wasn't anywhere near it. He just learned that this sphere has detected the Surprise and is coming right for it. So this is an hour later, basically, or 2 hours later.
Yeah, but it's still a mere or a replication of what the first Surprise experienced last episode.
No, they both experienced that.
It's just catching up to us again, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh. But
Yep.
the first one, not the second one, not the first one.
Yes, sorry, I know it's a little hard to...
Would a directed EMP pulse kill the Borg?
Ooh.
Would their
Nice.
electronic brains be fried?
You could try it. Are you guys okay still with continuing?
Yeah, let's
I
keep
didn't
going.
want to go too much later, but
Okay.
play a little bit more.
You tell me, okay, so yeah, if you're...
I mean, if there's any chance of us wrapping this up, then I'd like to keep going. You don't think that there's any way that we can wrap it up, then
Yeah,
we can hold off until next time.
probably could, yes.
We've got
Sure.
shields and weapons up now.
Yes, you do.
How close are they? Are they in impulse range or?
That's gonna be decided here as I tell you.
So we cannot leave. We've already attempted that. Impulse wasn't able to get us. We still hit that wall again, correct?
Correct.
So we have no choice but to fight.
Do we know why we're unable to move yet? Is that still a mystery to us?
Yes, it's due to, well, it's basically because of the ships and how they're out of phase. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What about the other side?
Oh wait, so we're
Was it a
out of
success?
phase from our own universe?
No, just the two ships are out of phase.
Is the other side? How did their attempt to disentangle go? Well, apparently we're still entangled.
Yeah, you're still entangled.
Oh yeah, we had just
Because they were the one, yeah, you guys initially tried it. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, they would have at the same time. Did they also have to stop?
Yes.
Did they run into the same?
Yeah.
Commander Kullat, is that rift still existing on the deck 15?
That's affirmative, Lieutenant Junior Grade.
So as you guys are deliberating, Reinach, give me a control and science roll, please. Caval, sensors and security. It's difficulty 1. Okay. Rhinoct, you're getting alert that the Borg sphere, so this is surprise number 2, the Borg sphere is scanning your vessel. And it knows you're, for whatever reason, not able to move.
What? How would they know that?
They're the Borg.
Borgs suck.
They're aware of your current weakness. And
Suck.
But our weapons and shields are back up now, right?
they are. And so immediately, let's find it here. Where'd it go? This. You hear this sound. Where'd it go?
I don't want to hear this sound.
Yeah, you do. It's good.
Do we just get laser cut in 2?
So
Yes. Yes, we did.
yes, you did. So I'm gonna mark on your ship here real quick. The Borg just sent in their cutting beam and is attempting to cut into the surprise number 2. And with the successes and with the effects that are there currently, your shields drop. And
Looking at the threat of the ship and our current situation, would Rhinoc be able to tell whether or not we stand any sort of chance at all in fighting them back?
yeah, and you would, after what just happened with the cutting beam, you would know that this is not a winning battle.
Yeah.
You should have
What
said it.
What are we supposed to do? We can't run. We can't fight, apparently.
He would have known that resistance.
Abandon ship and run to the other ship through the rift?
Is that an option?
Sounds like a philosophical nightmare.
Yeah.
Can we beam? Can we take the fight to the sphere? Can we beam on board?
Yeah,
I
does
mean,
the sphere have shields up?
they do have shields up.
I'm not just gonna
Then
sit
no,
here
we
and.
can't beam onto them.
Okay. For your idea of moving everybody to the other ship, in terms of all those people and their duplicates, give me a quick reason in science, Kullat, difficulty 1.
Yeah, but then we've left a portal for the Borg as well. They're gonna find it eventually.
We've also doubled the number of people on a ship that's ready to fall apart anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the viable option.
So, do you want to bank that
What's
Yes.
the point?
or more
What's
information?
the point?
What's
We're
the point?
dead anyways. We're
So-
dead, man.
So
We're dead.
that's it. Game over. So, Kullat, science would dictate that it would be almost impossible to move more than 5 people because it would harmfully adjust the atomic balance between the 2 ships.
Oh, we could just take the bridge crew and go.
See ya.
Good luck.
Lieutenant Commander, that is not feasible as an option.
Rhinoc would probably be firing back if they're within range.
Okay. You can give me a real quick roll here from the surprise. Actually, from Rhinoc, give me a. Where's this?
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to serving with you. My recommendation is we self-destruct.
I'll pilot a shuttlecraft full of proton torpedoes over at the board.
Ryan,
First,
give me a
I'll
control
put on my
security.
headband with the rising sun on it.
Were you firing phasers or proton torpedoes?
Probably the proton torpedoes. I think the phaser array is the area one, right?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
there are full spread option.
Torpedoes.
there is. Yeah. So you succeeded, but you won't be able to do the full spread. You could just do one proton torpedo.
Yeah, that's fine. Just the torpedoes.
Aim for their laser cutter.
The end. From the ship, go ahead and click on the photon torpedoes and fire, and click the fire button. Okay. 1 second here. Yield. Okay, sorry, I had to compute your effects. Okay, so it hits the sphere, and it looks like the shields hold. And as soon as you do that, you get the red alert, and across your screen, or at least your tactical screen, Rhinoct, you're getting notifications that Borg are starting to beam aboard.
Self-destruct. I'm not joking.
The Borg are beaming aboard. Captain, your orders?
Maricadi looks at the commander. Sorry, not Maricadi. Captain, because the captain's still alive. The captain looks at everybody else on the bridge. Kind of silent for a second as all these alerts are coming in. And reluctantly, he nods. And he looks at Kullat. And he says, Commander, did we find out who died on that previous ship? On that other ship?
I don't believe we knew specifically, no.
Understood.
You did.
Taria did. I don't know that she told her.
I don't think
she
we
was too
discussed
she was
specific
too
deaths.
smitten. So he nods. And he says,
Escape through the port.
Computer initiate self-destruct sequence. Rose Alpha 1. And the computer responds back, and she states, self-destruct sequence initiated. And the commander looks around and he says, it's been a pleasure serving with all of you. And he tells the computer, 1 minute. Anybody else doing anything? Anybody saying anything?
Well, I'm down in engineering. We bar the doors, ready any weapons we might have, and I pull out that bottle of scotch I've been holding on to. Andorian, no, what is it, Ryan? Right? What the green people? What planet is that?
Romulan?
Not Romulan. Green.
Oh,
Green. Oh, Vulcan? Wait, green.
No.
Orion.
Orion.
Orion brandy. I break out that bottle of
Orion
Orion brandy that I've been holding on to, and I pour it out amongst the crew, amongst my team members, and zum Wohl.
And they raise their glasses. What's going on in medical, in sick bay?
Was the news spread that we're about to self-destruct and everything?
I'm shooting myself up with this stuff. I'm gonna feel good.
He gives himself an injection of ketamine.
Yeah.
Go out not feeling.
Yeah. No, I guess Andal would go and find Taria and just have a nice conversation with her as the ship explodes.
And then lastly on the bridge where Kullat is. Kullat, what's going through your mind here?
Kullat, seeing that he's blowing up anyway, he's not sentimental. So there's a Borg ship that's, a future risk to anybody else. He's going to configure a torpedo to emit an electromagnetic pulse, and he's going to just have it fired off at the sphere.
Just to try? Just as an attempt?
Just to throw it. I mean, they're about to explode anyway, so, but yeah, just as a last ditch attempt to disable the sphere in any way.
Okay. Give me a real quick then. Where go? Control and security difficulty 2, please.
And do we have any leftover momentum? Or do we
You
use
have 3, yes. So this is, to do this, it's going to be a difficulty 3. Control and security, Caval, weapons and security, please.
Is there any substituting science for security on the basis that I'm using my technical know-how to outfit this proton torpedo or whatever I'm using to make it the most effective as possible? I'm treating it like a rocket launch.
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine.
And then I'm going to use physics as a
Saurian branding. That's it.
focus. Wait,
so
would I have been using... I'm using the computers to do this, right? I have to use the computer to configure the torpedo, so...
Did you see this bonus die?
Oh, well, there. We'll include it, just in case here, since he's already rolled. But we'll go ahead and include it since the chat tends to be a little bit.
Since I'm using the computer, though, can I re-roll that complicated die? That's what I'm using to outfit this torpedo, so...
Yeah, go ahead. You're re-rolling the 20 or the 16?
The 20.
Okay. So you push that button, and the ship fires it off. And when that ship fires it off, where's my sounds? When you fire it off, you hear a beaming sound behind you on the bridge. And on the bridge beams in 8 other Borg drones. And just as you hit that EMP, it hits their ship. Their ship, it stutters. The green lights on that sphere, it kind of pulses in and out. It seems to disappear for a minute. And at about 10 seconds later, it re-glows green again. And then you hear the lady on the computer say self-destruct sequence in 10 seconds. 9. And the drones, they walk up to the captain that's standing there and the commander, and they immediately grab them and pull them back and hit them with their Borg tubules. 5.
I shoot.
4. You shoot at the drone.
Yeah, I pull a phaser and shoot.
And it hits, but you get the adapt sound that they have adapted due to all the fighting on the ship. 2, 1, and the Surprise explodes. The USS Surprise. This is number 2. And everything goes black. Borg drone, or the Borg sphere, it kind of implodes on itself, and it also blows up. Back on Surprise number 1, Kullat, roll me a Insight and Engineering difficulty 0. Well, good thing
it's difficult.
you didn't need to succeed.
Just didn't need a
But Cabal,
complication.
you get to learn in engineering that the antimatter hemorrhage, the antimatter leaking that was going on before, suddenly stops. And while your ship is pretty beat up, partially destroyed, it's still functional. And the problem that did exist, at least with the antimatter, is no longer there. And you learn that with that ship gone, it's all back to normal. And that's where we'll end the extra long stream. Sorry that went a little longer than I expected. I was hoping to get through it. I'm glad we did. And I'll add a few comments here at the end, but I would like to hear from you gentlemen first. Just as your character's thoughts, and then your thoughts of the whole scenario, and then we'll head on out. We'll start with Commander Kullat, our science officer, our pointy-eared friend.
Well, first our attempt to disentangle did not work. And so he's stumped and he's working on a fix, and all of a sudden there's a fix. We're disentangled. So Kullat's sitting there wondering if his other self figured something out, so he's just at his console ticking away trying to figure out what that solution might have been. Personal thoughts is there's a couple episodes there that it's pretty rough. We were getting blown up left and right no matter what we were doing. Felt like we were just jumping from fix to fix, and we were just still dying and dying. It got pretty dicey there. And then I think start of this stream, I wasn't picking up what you were putting down for a while, so I was getting confused there. But pretty crazy ending. Right before the Borg attacked Ship 1, I suddenly thought like, oh no, this ends with... Oh, sorry, they blew up Ship 2. I was like, oh god, Ship 1's going to get blown up, and that's how we disentangle them. but then I was wrong, so then I wasn't certain anymore, but then that's what happened to ship 2, so it was pretty good.
Lieutenant Commander Caval.
Caval wonders, based on the data received and the change of in readings and the sudden the cease on the drains, he attempts to extrapolate if this did indeed mean the destruction of the other ship, and if they sacrificed themselves for us. And he salutes the other Caval, wherever he might be now. And Taria somewhere, she feels a sudden pain, a sudden emptiness, a sudden loss, and she knows in her heart that Grax is gone. And she weeps bitterly. The end.
And your thoughts, your personal thoughts?
Personal thoughts. Oh man, that was kicking our ass. That was extremely challenging. The last 2 episodes. I'm glad we stuck it out and finished it.
Me too. Lieutenant Grax. Heartbroken. Wait, not this Grax. Yeah. Heartbroken
No,
Grax is dead.
This Grax is probably like extremely tired and stressed out right now, trying to deal with all of the injured personnel on the ship that's overflowing from the med bay, and still, I guess, grieving and upset about the death of the captain, but trying to still focus on the crew members that are alive.
And Severian's thoughts.
So I was not expecting the alternate reality twist. That was pretty cool. I liked it, and I wasn't expecting either the having to destroy the whole ship to unentangle ourselves. It was interesting. I liked it.
Yes. So my thoughts, and I'll tell you my motivation or my thoughts or my motivation for this scenario here in a minute. I will add Caval in the background. Your extended task that you did in the previous scenario, or sorry, not in the previous scenario, previous episode.
Yeah.
You likely stopped one of the player characters, if not 2 of them, from dying.
Wow.
Because of that. I
Oh,
couldn't
cool.
tell you that.
Well, it wasn't
Obviously.
I didn't do it on my own. It was me and Kullat together.
Yes.
Who did that?
I couldn't tell you that, obviously. But that was where things were headed. So
I'm glad it
I
worked.
did wanted to make a note to tell you that now that you saved some lives. And so when you guys get time later, go watch Voyager's episode called Deadlock. You'll see what you just went through. Because I took that episode and I turned it into your scenario.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
And I know it was rough, but it was rough on purpose because I knew there was a second ship. And honestly, I was trying to kill a lot of you because
You
there was
bastard!
because there was
We're
a
a few
second
scenarios
character.
in, so-
You know what I mean? So you guys would have eventually figured out that my player character isn't dead. And maybe you could have done something about that. But that was the point. And yes, you guys did get there. And hopefully I explained it. Maybe I did cause some confusion. That the only way to stop the problem was to blow up one of the ships.
And if we had blown up ship number 1, would we have then been ship number 2 in this alternate timeline? Alternate dimension?
Yeah, if only we'd have blown up the damaged ship. I mean, now we gotta fix this crap.
Maybe spit on it. Maybe somebody from a time ship will visit you and tell you that answer. Perhaps you could have gotten away from the Borg. Perhaps you would have never even came in contact with the Borg.
Perhaps we could have called each other friend.
Perhaps you could unsolve this mystery.
Unsolve it?
Solve it. Yes, so I would like to thank you guys for playing. I would like to thank Alpha Wolf for the drop of the spend. I would like to thank Scud, the drop for the spend, and Distals for the torpedo. I will log that. The torpedo. I would like to thank the incoming raid from Table Quests. I appreciate that, guys. We all do. And with that, we're gonna go raid. If you can stick around, the next time will probably be in about 3 weeks due to real life stuff. Yeah, schedulings and things. So keep watch on our Twitter, and everybody live long and prosper.
Good night.